Hi! Welcome back to Adri's Homestead Life. In this video I would like to talk about seeds I am sowing in March. I've got 16 varieties of tomatoes I'm going to sow and grow this year, and all these in March. Before I show you, I just would like to recap on what else I will be showing you in this video. So I would like to show you my peppers and chilies potting on. So what I do, first of all, I show you the potting mix I am making. I try to source all the ingredients for the compost from around the homestead, so I don't need to buy from garden centers. So we're gonna make the compost, potting on compost. We're gonna put on some baby plants, and I probably will show you where they end up. They end up on the grow lights. I've got two setup of grow lights, one in a conservatory, one in the annex. And yeah, if we've got time, I will probably show you around a bit. So let's see what I'm gonna grow in March. Ooh, so excited! So I'm gonna have a go. Probably, it is actually 7th of March already. And this week I am definitely going to sow the tomatoes. So I've made a little note in here, my notebook, I put them in like categories, all these tomatoes. So I've got 4 categories. I've got hanging basket, I've got cherry tomatoes, paste tomatoes, and the last group is a big one where it's gonna be the beefsteak, slices, stuffers, you know, the bigger variety. So I'm only gonna do one hanging basket one. Those are cherry tomatoes as well, and it's called a mini bell. I'm going to grow 2 varieties of cherry tomatoes. My 2 all-time favorites, the Sun Gold and the Gardener's Delight. I have done in the past so much more, but I still got so much left in the pantry, and all the tomato produce and freeze-dried, freezer, dehydrated. The pantry shelves full of tomato kind of food, all the paste, the spaghetti sauce, and all puree, juice. So I've decided to grow 2 varieties of cherry tomatoes. That might be changing, I don't know, but at the moment that's the plan. And I'm gonna focus on, I wanted to grow more paste variety, but I had a lot more variety of tomatoes what I've chosen to grow this year anyway, but I've not found more of that much of paste tomatoes, because I really enjoy canning, making all the tomato sauce, pasta sauce, spaghetti sauce, puree, juice. So I'm growing 4 varieties of the paste tomatoes: the San Marzano 2, the Ukrainian purple, Rio Grande, and Amish paste. I said last year that I would like to grow more of the paste tomato and less of the cherry, so I just tried to stick to that plan. And the big varieties, you know, the slices or the beefsteak, I've got the Mortgage Lifter, Black Russian, Red Ox Heart, Costoluto Fiorentino, Brandy Black, probably the Brandy Wine Black, Black Cream, Jack Breast, Red Zebra, and Green Zebra. So this is really exciting. I really love growing tomatoes. So that's the tomato bit. The other things I'm gonna grow this month is I've been growing lemongrass for the past couple of years. They're not frost hardy, so I do bring them in. In the winter. So the lemongrass is gonna be my first one. And I'm going to grow leek. I'm just gonna go through all the seeds. I'll show you picture if it's got a picture. If it hasn't got a picture, I might just maybe a little bit show you the variety if I can't pronounce it. So this one is, yeah, this is the one that I can't pronounce it already. Variety. So it's the early autumn cabbage, rouge, and the rest. Sorry about that. So I've got the greyhound pointy summer autumn cabbage. I'm gonna have cabbage F1 cabbage. Something rouge again, beetroot. I'm gonna do rainbow mix, radish, aroma 2F1 basil, Nantes 5 carrot, Addy pea, sugar snap, sugar lace, and this white jam parsnip. So these are the one what I have chosen to grow in March. So what I've got in here, in this wheelbarrow, I've got peat. In this bucket, I've got molehill, so around the property. I will show you how I make my potting mix using all the ingredients around the homestead. So my aim is to not to buy nothing from outside garden centers, from nowhere else. I try to find what I have on a homestead and use that up. Yeah, with peat, it's lots of people say yes and no, but I've never used it before. I've got so much peaty soil in one part of our property that I've decided to give it a little trial and use it. It's acidic, so plant, vegetables would benefit with acidic needs, like blueberries and some of brassicas, tomatoes, quite a few actually. But yeah, so I'm not gonna go mad. I'm gonna use probably 1 part of peat, 1 part of this molehill's been, I've already sieved this molehill. 1 part of molehill. I'm gonna probably use 2 or more, 3 parts of my homemade compost and maybe 1 part of perlite. I'll give it a good mix, and that will be my potting on mix. So let's do this. I bought this little handy tool, like a manual sieve. So I'll do 1 more, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna do the mix all together. Right, so let's do the potting on mix. I'm saying potting on a mix because I've got already these baby plants in here. I'm going to pot on all these beautiful peppers today. So I've sown these seeds a couple of weeks ago, and they now reach the size that they need to be potted on. So I'm gonna pot on these peppers to about this size of pot. So smaller ones will go in this one. If there be like a really small ones, I find that's small, and that's the bigger plants. go in this. I reuse every year all these signs. So we just wash them in the autumn winter time when it's used, and I get quite a few years out of this. So I use pencil today. Sometimes I use all different pen or marker pen, but I think pencil works well. So I'm gonna use a pencil to write the variety. Each pot will have a sign with a variety what I'm planting in, and let's do the potting mix. So the potting on a mix will include 4 ingredients. It's like baking. It's gonna be an experiment. I've never used peat before, so that can go both way. I'm not sure if Pepper likes a little bit of a peat, but never mind. So it's gonna be 1 part, so 1 tray of peat. It's gonna be 1 tray of molehill what's been collected from a property, basically soil. So 1 part of molehill. We are going to put 3 parts of my homemade compost. So it's mean 3 trayful of this homemade compost, and this is actually the good stuff. The other things, basically, I've just tried to make more volume, so because I haven't got an awful lot of this homemade beautiful compost, and I just basically try to. My dog is actually I'll show you. Look what is it doing? I'm not sure if you can see it. I have to turn you around. But his little nutter, that's what you can hear. Lucy, what are you doing, baby? It's making a mess. Oh, never mind. Let's put you back in position. Sorry about that. So back to the potting on mix. I just want to show you that's the noise what you can hear. He loves coming in here and making a mess. So that's 1 part of the homemade compost. I'm actually so proud of this homemade compost. You are making compost now for a couple of years. So all these ingredients, the peat, the molehill, and also the compost, all been sieved through, because I don't really want big lumps and bits and bobs when I'm dealing with these small seeds. So that's 2nd tray, and let's do 1 more, and then we put a perlite. So the next time, so I sow the seeds in a module trays. I'm potting on, usually individual pots, and the 3rd time, hopefully it's gonna be, it depends on the weather, hopefully you're gonna have the last pot, or quite a decent big sized pot, or they go into either Polytunnel or to the garden. So that's the 3rd tray, and now we're going to put some perlite. I've got a big bag of perlite in here, so let's just fill this tray up with it, and I'm gonna have a mix all together, and I'm gonna decide if we're gonna use more perlite. We might use 2 parts of perlite to 1 part of peat, 1 part of molehill soil, and 3 parts of compost. So, and that's the perlite. It helps with water, keep the water. And actually that's why the peat is good as well. Keeps moisture. Right, I think a little bit overfill this potting mix pot. But, so that's the plan. It's like plain. Right. So the next step now, I'm gonna, after I give it a good mix, I'll give it a good mix and I'll show you what I'm doing next. I fill these little pots, what I've just showed you, the individual pots, and then I give it a good soak. I usually do it on a tray. So I fill these pots with my potting mix, tamp it down. I've got a little good tamper in here, cool little tool. So I just do this, and it looks like this. Give it a good soak. And then I'm gonna separate the peppers and potting on. I'll come back and I'll show you how we're gonna separate it. So I filled all these pots in here, and now I just need to give it a good soak on the top. Wait 5-10 minutes, it soaks nicely in, and then I'll just use my little dibber to poke a hole in the middle where I'm gonna place all the little baby pepper plants. So I'm just gonna carry on water this, all the little pots, and I'll be back and show you when we are going to put them all in a little individual pots. So now is the time to separate the baby pepper plants. I've got one not germinated. This one hasn't germinated. That's always happened. It was my own seed and it was quite old, the sweet yellow pepper. So I'm not surprised. But I've got some other red pepper. That's my own seed. And that's actually the best germination. And I've got, it's called Yellow Monster bell pepper. I've got another sweet AG pepper. I don't know how to pronounce these names. I've got Amy, Czech, wax, sweet pepper, and Zitava paprika pepper, sweet pepper. So yeah, I've got these seeds, most of these when I was on holiday in Slovakia. So what I usually do, so these are the dibbers I use to make a hole in the pots. It's different pot size, I use different dibbers, and this is just this little handy tool I'm just using to lift the whole module, like a pepper plants out, so they come out like this. You see? And we're gonna separate all these little plants. There is loads in here. I don't think so I need all of these, because that's like plenty. So this is the red paprika, red pepper, and that's my own saved seed. So I'll be very interested how it's gonna turn out. I mean, I'm gonna use loads of these little signs now, because until now I just needed one, you know, to put in these module trays, but now all these peppers will go in separate little pots. And the mistake I've done before, sometimes I just move them around, so even though I've put them whole in the same variety, but I do sometimes just placing them around from one tray to the other, and that's when I I don't know if they haven't got, every single pot needs to have a sign. If you haven't got a sign, then it easily can get mixed up. So, right, now I've separated all these little plants, and now what we're gonna do, I think I'm gonna use my medium-sized dibber, and I'm just gonna make a hole, like just like that, in the pots, and then we're gonna put these plants in. So very gentle. These are actually quite sturdy, they got very strong little stems already, these little peppers. But if it's a small tiny one, I use a small pot. If it's a bigger one, I'll use a bigger pot. And I'm just gonna put them all in. I really just gonna put it all on right where the leaves are, right up to the neck of these plants. So here we go. One more tiny one goes in the tiny pot, and I think I've got two more in here behind. Let's put these two in here. That's it. So now I'm just very gently push the soil around right until the neck of that plant. I'll show you in a minute. Could be close up how I do them. So just right, very close. Can you see? Just right up to these little necks. Very close up. And that's it. Potted on is done. So I'm gonna carry on do all this potting on now. That will gonna take me a while because I've got quite a few. And after I've done all that, that's done. That will go on the grow light. So I'll show you all these plants potted on and under the grow light. This is the setup in the annex grow light system. I would like to show you. So the lights are off at the moment because I turn them off during the day and turn them on for at night. So let's see what we're growing in here. Sweet pea in the back. That's coriander. Lettuces. All these are different varieties of lettuces. Pak choi. Vibrant joy. In the back, those leggy ones are okra. So that's the top. The middle, I've got loofah, okra growing in here, coriander. I'll show you how I harvest the lettuce. So these are the lettuces, and what I do, and I can get so much out of it, instead of just pulling them out, the whole lot, I pick all the outer leaves. So just pick around the plant, like that, and that will encourage the inside to grow some more. Next week we can have the same harvest again. So I just go and pick all the outer leaves like that and leave the rest of the plants in the ground. Basket is filling up nicely. Look, really good. So we've got the turnip, we've got the kale, lettuce and the spinach. I'll just carry on until I finish to pick all this. Welcome to the annex. So I'm doing at the moment, I've got this basket and I've got these sacks of potatoes what I've stored last year from, let's say, August, September onwards. And what I do every month, a couple of months, I just go through all these potatoes and remove if they started to chitting or some bad bits, and then fill this basket and take it to the house. The rest stays in here. I've got like pallets underneath this setup, the tables, and then I store them in these little sacks so it's dark and cool. It's perfect condition for me for the potatoes. I mean, look how beautiful this potato looks, and it's a purple potato. This has been stored October, November, December, January, February, at least 6 months in here in this condition, and it's honestly, it's really good. So the larger the potatoes are, better it stores. I've got some medium and small size, I don't like wasting. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go through this. I've still got 2 more sacks. That will last me probably another couple of months. Before end of June, early July, we can have our first early fresh potatoes from the ground. I haven't even put the sweet potatoes in the ground yet. I usually do it end of March or the first early, and then about Easter time I do the second early and the main crop about mid and April. So by end of April all the potatoes will be in the ground, and we'll harvest the first earlies probably soon. I run out of my storage because I haven't really bought potatoes for years now. It lasts for me all year round. So we've got March. Probably actually I'm gonna run out this year, but I'm gonna wait for the fresh one. I try not to buy nothing from the shop. So yeah. What a beautiful day, 7th of March. Hello, Toffee. Are you gonna say hello? Hello, sweetie. Hello, sweetie. You playing with the doggies? Hello. Hello, Toffee. You okay? What's up? Hello, Luz. Don't jump. No. Say hello. Hello, 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 hello. Come on. Come on, come on. Go see the bees. Ooh, they're busy. Not sure if you can see it. It's a bit windy. They are busy.